Hello and welcome back to the another episode of Daily News Quiz Analysis for IAS Prelims 2025. It is 8th December today. You know, in this video we are going to solve different types of questions which are very much relevant and very much important for your preparation if you are preparing for UPSC exam or any civil service exam or any state civil service exam. So these questions are going to be very much important for you. Before we'll start solving these questions, I would like to give the brief introduction about the video so that you will get more connected with it. Every day on this YouTube channel, we try to upload this video, and in this video, we discuss three types of questions. If we will break these questions in subsets, we will derive these questions in three subsets. The first set of questions which we discuss here are taken from the current affairs. You know what we do? We take up the newspaper every day. We take up the most important articles which are relevant for your preparation. We break them down into the simplest language possible and derive the questions from those articles so that it will give the idea how questions can be asked from those news articles. So this is the first set of questions which we discuss here. The other set of questions which we discuss here are taken from the static portion. If you had followed me, you would definitely know that we had started discussing the static topics also here, and we had started with Indian polity, and today we are going to discuss few questions on the DPSPs, directive principles, and we will get basic idea about DPSPs and derive a question on that. After discussing the static part, also after discussing the current affairs part, we will shift our approach towards the last part of our discussion where we will solve some previous year questions which were asked in the previous year exams, and we will try to find out the ways and means by which we can solve those questions and how we can implement that knowledge in the upcoming exam. So this is in a nutshell about this initiative. Now, before we will start discussing these questions, I would like to request you guys few things which which you should follow. If I was at your place, I would definitely do that. You know, First of all, what you should do, you should note down these questions with you, or at least take the screenshot of these questions. As you know, what are my sources, as I already discussed that with you. And the good thing about that is it is the same source which the UPSC faculty is going to frame questions from. So there are high chances that these concepts will coincide in your exams. So if I was at your place, I will note down these questions or at least take the screenshot of these questions. When my exams would be near and I would want to revise the static part, I would want to revise the current affairs part or some previous year questions, that time the time is very much limited. But if I have these questions with me, I would just go through these questions, revise them. These questions would definitely connect me with the current affairs. These questions would connect me with the static part as well as the previous year questions, and it will boost my confidence before entering the exam hall. So if I was at your place, I would definitely note down these questions. Now, another thing which I would like to request you guys, please do subscribe the channel and share it with your friends so that they may also get connected with it. And please do write in the comments what else should we bring for you, as we are here to help you. Please do write in the comments what else should we bring for you. And you can also criticize us if we are wrong anywhere. Please correct us if we are wrong anywhere, but be respectful in doing so. At the same time, we don't want to get demotivated. Now, without any delay, let us start with our first question. Here, as you can see on the slide, the question is about the tungsten, which is an element. It says, which is a metal. It says tungsten, known for its high melting point and density, finds application in various fields. As we would discuss about it, which of the following is not a common application of tungsten? So here in this question, we have to find out where the applications here given below, which of them in these applications where tungsten is not used. So let's keep this question aside for a sec and let's ask me a question. Sir, why we had brought this question here? What was the need of this question? Why we are discussing it here? It is some random element. Why we are discussing some random element today? But the story is not the same. If you would have read today's newspaper, you would definitely find the mention of tungsten, as there has been a tungsten mining project in Tamil Nadu, and there is you know the Indian government, the union government, they had auctioned that to some private company or some company, namely Hindustan Zinc Limited, which is a subsidiary of Vedanta Limited. And with respect to that auction, with respect to that project related to tungsten, there has been backlashes from the people living nearby, and they are revolting against it. They are saying that this project related to the tungsten mining, it is going to harm the environment there. So with respect to this, we had come to know that there is the lack of consensus between the state government and the central government. When the project had started there, initially it was thought that the state government was in line with this central government, but once the protests erupted in these particular areas, particularly in Madurai in Tamil Nadu near Melur region, where the scheelite ore was found, which is the primary ore for the tungsten, which you should know. In this region, the protests erupted with respect to the tungsten mining auctions, with respect to the tungsten mining, and at the same time, the state government there, the Tamil Nadu government there, they withdrew their support to the center, and they started, arguing with the center that they were never in line with this project. So there are high chances that it is the center state relationship is not going well, because both the center and that particular state, the Tamil Nadu, they are governed by different political parties. So there are chances that this lack of understanding is there. But here what we need to know about this, what with respect to this topic, what we need to know, first of all, we need to know what are the center state relations, and we need to know about tungsten. We need to know about the Minerals Act of 1957, Minerals Regulation Act of 1957, under the schedule which minerals are under the schedule which are governed by the union government. And one thing about it, we should know that tungsten, it is under the Minerals Act of 1957. It is under the schedule of this under the schedule of this act. The tungsten is the part of that, and it is governed by the union government. But with respect to the tungsten mining in this particular area, there had been some environment concerns raised by the people living there, the NGOs, and all that stuff related to it. And because of that, there are major protests going on in the Tamil Nadu. So this is the nutshell about this question, why we had brought this question. But here we need to know more about tungsten. It has high melting point, it has high density, and it finds its application in various fields. For example, it finds its application in space industry, it finds its application in automobile, it is a good conductor, it finds its application in electronics. Everywhere we can see the applications of tungsten are found. So with respect to this question, let's try to solve this question and get more about it. As the question says, tungsten known for its high melting point and density, what are finds application in various fields, 100% correct. Which of the following is not a common application of tungsten? So here we have to find out which of the given application is not the common application of tungsten. First of all, is it used in light bulb filaments? 100% correct. It finds its application in bulbs. Second, X-ray tube targets. 100% correct. It finds its application in X-ray tubes. Third, aircraft engine components. 100% correct. It finds its application in aircraft engine components. D, solar cell panels. No, it does not find that application in the solar cell panels. So with respect to this question, the correct option is option D, as we have to find out where it does not find its application. So answer to this question is question D, and these light bulb, X-ray targets, and aircraft, this tungsten, it very well finds its application in the above three given given options. So this is about this question, and I hope you had understood it. I hope you had got the basic idea why we had brought this question here. I hope you had got what the context behind this question. Now with this, let's move to the another question and try to solve that. Now coming here to the another question, it is about the novel methods to combat malaria. Recently, if you had been with me, we had found out that particularly in Africa, how two vaccines were developed for curing malaria. And there are different other kinds ways in which this malaria can be cured, in this malaria can be curbed, especially if we will look at the how it can be done. One of the method by which we can cure the malaria is a radiation sterilization technique, in which the radiation sterilization is done to the male mosquito, and in this way it prevents hatching of the eggs. This is one way by which we can prevent the malaria. Then another is we go for genetic modification. Genetically modified mosquitoes are used, and recently the new technique has been found out, on which the scientists across the world are working on. They are directly, they are not targeting the mosquitoes, they are directly targeting the parasite malaria, on which they are going to genetically modify it, and further it will act as, it will, once it is injected in the human body, it will take 6 days time, and human liver will by itself develop immunity against that, and in this way this malaria can be curbed. So this is in a nutshell about the new techniques which were mentioned in the newspaper today. Now let's try to solve this question and get more idea about it. Here the question says, it says, recent scientific advancements have introduced novel methods to combat malaria. Which of the following is not, here is the catch, we have to find out which one is not one of these new approaches. First, genetically modified mosquitoes, it is one of the way. So here it is one of the way to combat malaria, as here the question is which one is not, so with respect to this question it becomes incorrect. Second, monoclonal antibody therapies, this is one of the way, but with respect to this question it is also incorrect. Third, CRISPR Cas9 gene editing of human cells, this is not the way by which we can cure the malaria, so with respect to this question the correct statement is option C. Option D, malaria vaccines, this is one of the way to cure malaria, but with respect to this question it is incorrect. So with respect to this question the correct statement is option C, which is CRISPR Cas9 gene editing of human cells is not the way by which we can cure malaria. So this is about the question. Why we are discussing it? Because there was an article in the newspaper which talked about various innovations with respect to the curing of malaria, in which genetically modified mosquitoes were discussed, in which radiation sterilization was discussed, and similarly genetically modified, genetical modification to target malaria directly, malaria parasite directly. This was one of the method which was discussed there. So this is what we need to know about this question, and this is how we solved it. So with respect to this, let's move to the another question and try to solve that. Here the question is about the long COVID. Why we had brought this question? Because there was an article in the newspaper which talked about how the COVID-19 has impacted the mental health of many patients, how there has been, mental health diseases found in various different patients who had suffered from COVID-19, who had suffered from prolonged COVID-19. So with respect to this question, by solving this question, we'll get more idea about that. Here the question says, long COVID, a condition affecting individuals who have recovered from acute COVID-19 infection, has been linked to various neurological symptoms. 100% correct. Which of the following is not a common neurological manifestation of long COVID? So here also we have to find out which one is not the common neurological manifestation of long COVID. First option, brain fog, it is. So it is one of the impact of the long COVID, but with respect to this question it is incorrect. Second, headaches, this is also impact of the COVID-19 long COVID, but with respect to this question this is also incorrect. Fourth, mood disorders, this has been found in various patients, but with respect to this question it is also incorrect. So with respect to this question, as here we have to find out which one is not a common neurological manifestation of long COVID, it is enhanced cognitive functions. So with respect to this question the correct statement is option C. So with this, let's move to the another question and try to solve that. Here the question is about the SSBN submarine ship, ballistic nuclear, and SSN submarine nuclear classes of nuclear submarines. What is the major difference between these two? Why we are discussing that? Because India is very soon going to develop, indigenously develop the SSN class of submarines, which we had lagged since then. What is the difference, major difference? First, their primary role, as per this, as we can see it, the major difference is first their primary role. With respect to this question, the correct statement is option B. As the question says, first let's solve the question, then we will get the context. Question says, which of the following is the primary difference between the submarine ship, ballistic nuclear, and SSN submarine nuclear classes of nuclear submarines? It is the primary role. What is the primary role of SSBN here? It is mentioned here. SSBNs are designed for strategic deterrence, armed with long-range ballistic missiles. So SSBN, they are for strategic deterrence. They are armed with long-range ballistic missiles carrying nuclear warheads. So this is the feature of the SSBN. And what is the feature of SSN? They are primarily attack submarines. They are primarily attack submarine designed for intelligence gathering, anti-ship warfare, and anti-submarine warfare. And they are armed with cruise missiles. They are armed with cruise missiles. So this is the major difference between the two, and their size difference is also one of the major difference. SSBNs are larger ships, while as SSNs are smaller submarines. So these are two major differences found in these SSBN submarine ship ballistic nuclear and SSN submarine nuclear classes of nuclear submarines. These are the two major differences. In SSBN, we see ballistic missiles. In SSBN, they are larger ships. In submarine SSN, they use cruise missiles, and they are smaller ships, and they are primarily used for attack submarines. They are primarily attack submarines, whereas SSBN are strategic, used or designed for strategic deterrence. So these are the differences. And with respect to this question, the correct statement is option B. It is primary, their difference lies with the primary role. What is the primary role? It defines the difference between SSBN and SSN classes of nuclear submarines. So with this, let's move to the another question and try to solve that. Here the question is about the chars. As the question says, chars are frequently formed and eroded along the India-Bangladesh border due to the dynamic nature of the rivers in the region. Which of the following, here the question also says, is not a significant challenge posed by these chars? So why we are discussing here, the answer to this question definitely lies with the recent development near the India-Bangladesh border, as BSF has deployed, and they had been moved to zero line along Bangladesh border in Bengal. What is the zero line? It is the 50 to 100 meters no one's land, where this land is kept empty. This is about 50 to 100 meters land, and under this land these chars come. What these chars are the unique features of the India Bangladesh border. What happens there? As we know that Ganga river, it becomes Padma river in Bangladesh. So these Ganga and Padma river, they bring sand and silt, and they are temporary, they remain there temporarily, and they are used by the farmers there, as they would cultivate on these chars, on these sand and silt which is deposited by Padma and Ganga river. So these deposits from the Padma river and Ganga river are called chars, and they are used by farmers for their farming. So it becomes very much important for us to know what these chars are. Why we are discussing it? Because because the recent developments near the zero line between India and Bangladesh. So with respect to this question, let's mark the correct options. Here we have to find out which one of the following is not a significant challenge posed by these chars. First one, frequent displacement of local population. This is the significant challenge, but with respect to this question, it is not the correct answer. Border disputes between India and Bangladesh, this is one of the issue, but with respect to this question, not the correct answer. Vulnerability to natural disasters, this is correct, but with respect to this question, it is not the correct option. And increased soil fertility in the region, with respect to this question, this is the correct option, as it is not the challenge posed by these chars, because it is one of the good thing which farmers enjoy. So with respect to this, With respect to today's class, we had solved all the questions related to the current affairs. I hope I was very much clear in delivering this information to you. I was very much clear in solving these questions, and also I was very much clear in giving you the context behind these questions. Now with this, let's move towards the static part, where we will solve a simple question on DPSPs, where we will try to understand what DPSPs are in a nutshell. Here the question says, which of the following statements regarding the directive principles of state policies in the Indian Constitution are correct? Here about DPSPs, we should know it is found in the part 4 of the Indian Constitution. So with respect to the DPSPs, they are not justiciable. So with respect to the statement 1, the DPSPs are justiciable in nature and enforceable in any court. Totally incorrect. They are not justiciable in nature and cannot be enforceable in any court. So if there are DPSs, for example, we have Article 44, which talks about the Uniform Civil Code. So we cannot go to the courts that the governments are not going for the Uniform Civil Code. So these are not enforceable, but they act as a guiding principle for the state in the governance of the country. So with respect to this statement 1 is incorrect. Statement 2, the DPSPs aimed to establish social and economic democracy in India. 100% correct. They try to establish social and economic democracy in India. They try to establish equity. They try to establish integrity of the country. They try to establish the unity in the country. They try to establish, that everyone should perform equally. So with respect to the DPSP, its aim is to establish social and economic democracy in India. With respect to the third statement, DPSPs are non-justiciable, 100% correct, but they serve as a guiding principle for the state in the governance of the country, 100% correct. So with respect to this question, the correct statements are statement 2 and 3 only. And from the code given below, the correct code is option B. So from this question, we understood few important points about the directive principles of state policy. It is found in the part 4 of the Indian Constitution from Article 36 to Article 51, and these are not justiciable, and also it acts as a guiding principle for the state in the governance of the country. And sometimes, the courts interpret laws on the basis of these DPSPs. So this is in a nutshell what you should know about the introduction of the directive principles of state policy. With respect to, from tomorrow's class, we'll start discussing DPSPs one by one and get more idea about it. With this, I hope you had understood the static part 2. Now let's move towards the last part of today's discussion, where we will solve the question from the previous year papers question and conclude our discussion. Here the question is about the Tanjore coast. So the question says, who among the following organized a march on the Tanjore coast to break the salt law in April 1930? Who was this person? Was he V.O. Chidambaram Pillai? No. Was he K. Kamaraj? No. Was she Annie Besant? No. He was definitely Sri Raja Gopalacharya. So with respect to this question, the correct option is option 2. So with this, we completed today's discussion. I hope you would like the video. I hope you would share it with your friends also. And I definitely hope you would subscribe the channel. And please do write in the comments what else should we bring for you. We are here to help you and also to improve ourselves. If we lagged anywhere, please do write in the comments. You can criticize us, as I already told you, but be little respectful in that. Do not demotivate us. We are here to work. We are here to improve. So with this, let us say a goodbye. May your success, may you reach to the what you are deserving. May you get what you are wanting. By this, let's say a goodbye. Thank you very much for staying with us.